Bad tune instruments are the best.
Sounds great.
It's that crazy ass loose string is the best.
Do you need to be this good? I feel like you're sitting on the ground.
Don't have to do anything. It's amazing.
You thought you needed the upright bass.
I know it sounds like the upright.
You haven't.
I'm kind of in love with the upright. It's a drone string of a different kind.
Do you have any poems memorized, Becky?
Poems?
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you write poems?
You know, I do on occasion. I never like my own poetry. Do you?
Sure. I have a whole laboratory full in my mind of fucking shit.
You better start jamming it.
I don't know,
This is a rap right now.
just a rap.
It sounds like someone's shitty speakers where all you hear is the low end bass rattling.
Yeah.
Turn down the treble.
It could probably be two.
That?
This one definitely
Can it? What do you do with that?
can be.
Where'd you get that?
The thrift store. I bought it for $1.
I love it.
It's my traveling guitar. I said this will
I like how you said it was a small guitar. It's basically a ukulele.
This is basically.
That's not an I pictured slightly larger, like a little.
I said it was plastic with 4 strings, about 8 inches long.
The
Maybe
devil is in the details.
Maybe I gave it too much.
About 8 inches long.
We haven't really played with this one. I did buy my nephew a real mini guitar.
An actual mini guitar.
For $1 at the thrift store.
How much was this thing? Look,
$35.
that's a lot.
Yes.
Could have had a whole ukulele for $41.
That's fine.
This is an expensive instrument.
And one is 50.
Talk them down because it's missing a string.
No, the longer shit sits at a pawn shop, the less expensive it gets. So I think it's just been
It's been shitting there.
shit for a while.
Yeah. Hey Becky, you know what I've been listening to lately?
What?
The Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah, I like the Grateful Dead.
They're like, I never liked the music.
Once in a
And
great
I
while, they have a
still
good
don't.
song.
Yeah. And,
Uncle John's band, I used to jam.
yeah.
Ripple, once in a while, I have them on the background.
What about the other one?
Truckin', I get sick of.
No, the other one. The other
Box
one.
of Rain, love it.
You ever heard the other one? That was the first one that he wrote Bob Weir wrote that with Neil Cassidy.
I don't know if I've heard that. The other one? That's
Yeah, it's really good, and it's all about like buying. It's all like it's real beat. It's a real beat poem, and he like, you know, who Neil Cassidy is.
Mm-mm.
So I think that's my understanding. If you understand who Neil Cassidy is and what he was doing, then you understand the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
And so, Neil Cassidy, you ever heard of the On the Road from
Jack Kerouac?
Jack Kerouac?
Yeah.
Okay, so Neil Cassidy didn't write any words, but Jack Kerouac wrote On the Road. It was like written on a scroll,
Yeah.
not a book. And one of the characters in it was Neil Cassidy. It was based upon Neil Cassidy, of them going around, and he also had a thing with Neil Cassidy's wife, with Jack Kerouac. They hooked up. Jack Kerouac and Neil Cassidy's wife hooked
Oh
up,
shit.
and so they was really kind of fringy. Of then one time there was this with Hunter S. Thompson, and the Hell's Angels and the Beats. Then they were like, oh, so we should be getting along because we both hate the authority and stuff like that. But that was really a bad idea. So like, it's basically the Neil Cassidy's wife that he was like, you want to be this way, then. So something was going on, and they were doing all these drugs and stuff. And what happened was like they had a gangbang
This is
of so many men, or Hell's
This
Angels,
is-
to Neil Cassidy's wife.
That's not good.
And
That's
Neil Cassidy would just kind of go in and out. Like he was like, his thing was speed, and like to hear him talk, because he would be always talking about like dimensions, and what's really interesting is like he would do things like he was the main driver of the Merry Pranksters for the bus. You know about the bus?
It sounds familiar.
Okay, so the bus, you know about King Casey wrote the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
It made him famous, and it gave money. And he was like, fuck writing. I want to do something else. And so they got a bus.
The best artist.
They got a bus, and they're like, okay, we're gonna just go around, and that's it, that's the whole life, is we're just gonna go on this bus. And so they had the Merry Pranksters, and they were like these really anti-authoritarian people, and they weren't really pushing any kind of like agenda other than to just disrupt any agenda that was there in like really kind of fun-hearted ways. And the bus was beautiful, of all these different colors and stuff, and
I think I've
it was
seen
always
pictures.
changing. And so Bob Weir, at like 16 years old, he hooks up with Jerry Garcia, who's like much older than him, like 10 or 20 years, and they're playing music and they're eating lots of acid. And then one day the bus shows up to like one of these places. They're having fun, and the bus wants to, Ken Casey and the Merry Pranksters, they called it the liquid acid test, or the citric, I forget what the acid test, but it's back when it was legal. And so they would do this. You pay $1, you get a cup of acid, you drink that, and then you have a party, and everybody's just, it's the acid test. And then Bob Weir and Jerry were like, well, this is great, there's all these people and stuff, but you got no music. So like the next time, then they brought their music, and that's basically how the Grateful Dead was, because they would have a lot of rough times of like, well, sometimes they couldn't play, sometimes they were just, all these different kind of things, go to these dimensions he was like talking about, he's playing and then everything turns into snakes, and
God, take
like
a break,
everything's
man.
kind of like, just like, it's really hard to play these chords right now.
Yeah.
And So they sit down, and then they find themselves right in a real good groove. But at one point, Neil Cassidy was living with the Grateful Dead for like a whole month, and this guy was a real nomad. He died just got run over by a train. He was just walking along the tracks.
Shit.
But he was the main driver of the Merry Pranksters, or this huge bus, and he would just like walk to the back of the bus, and what Bob Weir says is that like he had this kind of like physically he had this control over getting to maneuver everything because everything was all in just key. You know how whacked out he was. He was just like a little Popeye, like the old Popeye, just always like talking. But it's like it's genius of this things that he's talking about, but he never wrote. He never wrote anything. So that's the thing of just understanding Neil Cassidy, and that's the whole key of like, oh, so that's what all like the Grateful Dead stuff. Like people have told me about like the pranksters and stuff, but I feel like if you really understand Neil Cassidy, that's like the real kind of thing because he didn't write anything, so he's kind of like the Socrates.
He's like the muse.
Yeah, like instead of like Plato, hearing it from Plato, like you hear it from Socrates. So that just like that. A hurricane. Yeah, he's a fucking hurricane. Yeah. Yeah.
Plays itself.
It sure
Not how you play a guitar. It's hard to catch the string. It moves so much.
Does that mean something?
It's loose. That's fun. Look at that. Here's how normal string. Look at this motherfucker.
Yeah, this one started coming out, so that's why.
I think it's loose up here. You can fix it, but I don't want to mess with what you got going on here.
You're
Yeah.
allowed to mess with it.
I don't want to fix it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fix it.
We want it trashy, right?
Well, not to extent. It's lived in my trunk for a week
It's
or
not
two.
very nice.
I know. I'm gonna take it back and put it on this. These guys can get tighter.
That's what it sounded like.
You want to train?
It's addicting. Yeah, that's what we got.
You're around now. He can be treated. He can.
I don't think you can even play a chord on
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna play the pregnancy song. You ever play the pregnancy song?
No, that sounds scary.
It's a song. The song that Sky and I.
You gotta have that crazy ass string.
I just ruined it.
Tightened her up.
This is a pregnancy song. This is a pregnancy song. Slip the road up the road, slip the road, cotton leaves in it, cotton leaves in it, cotton leaves in it, slip the road up the road, slip the road up the road, slip the road up the road, slip the road, slip the road. This is a pregnancy song. This is a pregnancy song.
I think I sent you this song and I said,
That's really
"Dude,
good.
you should play it on Facebook." And I think both you and I were like, "That's about his friend who ate you when you're on a TV show."
Nope.
No?
Where's
I
the
thought
goat
there was-
No, that the goat was. I think it was. I see it not as like one song, but as like three different ideas
Yeah.
and then joining together. She's like, this is the pregnancy song. It's like a pregnancy song because she delivered a lot of pregnancy from sheep.
Sheep, yeah.
Uh,
And then the cottage cheese peanut butter, women like always have weird cravings during their pregnancy.
And like this, so that's like it all originates from that chord that I can't play properly here because there's missing a string.
yeah.
But it was from watching a video, and they said like, yeah, this is that string for the chord for "Smells Like Teen Spirit"
yeah.
from Nirvana. And so it was like cool, and I'd like to try to just have like just riffs, but then it kind of called of. I like that kind of. So it's kind of just like a bunch of ideas put together.
I like the spidery high part. The little thing, yeah, that.
Kind of reminds me of AC/DC.
Yeah, shredding. Like the thunderstruck.
Ah, 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 ah. All right.
This guitar plays.
Needs smaller hands.
Or a bigger guitar.
When I tried to tune the Barbie ukulele or the Disney ukulele, it was impossible.
I do remember.
But it sounded like the devil.
Try to play Santa Baby.
I don't know that one.
Oh, can you do? Remember this one?
No
What is it?
at all.
All this sounds like thrash.
That one?
Like,
Uh,
oh, look what I've done. What
oh shit, Mikey.
have I done?
Come back onto the blanket.
It's
It's too late.
of
for-
just the
for me.
two. You had the 1, 2, and then Remember?
I think I remember it.
it's kind of like steps. 1, no step. Now you go down a step, and then
Okay. I regulated her pocket. Some of these were in the tired hours.
in the middle of the night.
I'm walking in my sleep.
I made a song out of that, the beginning. It goes like this. In the middle of the night, drunk driving, drunk driving. In the middle of the night, drunk driving, drunk driving. Because there's like this song from like the 50s. Drunk, da,
I
da,
think I've
da,
heard that.
da, da. I don't know what the words are. But it's like drunk driving, drunk driving.
You gotta jump, jive,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What is this song?
jump, jive, and wail.
Oh, jiving.
I think it's jiving. I got it off my legs. Not the socks,
Yeah,
though.
It's not too terrible.
They're the little burrs. Now
Yeah.
they're on the blanket, though. So that's
Oh, dang, you got some things in your stuff?
They got all over my leg.
They're not like the mean.
They're just little clingy plants. They got my legs. That sounds like a song. What you do? sound like Pixies version. That's what you were playing.
Really?
Hold on, I'll figure out one. Not the bass.
I think it is good.
It sounds like the Pixies now. It's good. It's got that like kind of a trashy grunge. People
It's
say,
Willie Nelson's guitar. He's had that same old ass guitar forever.
Yeah, it's been through a war.
What's it called? Tito?
I thought it was a woman's name.
Teresa?
the name of the song.
No, it's just a guitar. Willie Nelson's guitar. He gets it fixed.
That's how I'm gonna use my car. Get a new one! No, I'm putting money into this one. Don't do that. You're an American, for fuck's sake. What are you, stupid?
Yeah, they have like a
I'm gonna sit again, my sleep and eat popcorn. I almost know what it is that you're playing. Hold on.
See, that almost sounds like the upright bass.
It does. The rattly thing, I like it a lot. The upright bass is probably woefully neglected also. We just know nothing about it.
If it was a little bit smaller, I would have bought it. I just know way real wide.
I wanted it bad, but that's a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a necessity.
You would only have to trade $400 for the shit.
I can't believe how cheap it was. It must
How
be
much
trash.
did you get it? How much?
It must have been probably neglected and like worked or something.
Yeah,
Because aren't they? They're very expensive.
$100,000.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be
I forgot what you were playing.
$25,000.
What's that one? I'll know it when I see it. Definitely a Pixie song.
Not the one from Lost My Mind.
No, it's not Where's My Mind. It's another thrashy one. Not the baser, but something like that. But they yell.
Okay.
So close. Damn, I can't find it.
Actually,
My
the Pixies
dude.
ripped off us.
My YouTuber.
They got Time Machine. It's our future.
I can hear it. I can hear the lyrics. It's sad.
Guess who's coming to Phoenix? Niels Fromm is going to be in Phoenix.
Are you gonna be there?
So amazing. Yes, I am.
Nice.
I was going to
Do
go
it.
to LA to see that man. I'm gonna go to Phoenix.
Van Buren? Have you done it yet?
Yeah, I saw Julian Jacqueline at the time. It was beautiful. I think the Walt Disney Symphony Hall will be a little bit better acoustically, but
Is this lost one?
Yeah. So salty. I am. I'm a little salty.
Don't get salty.
is it more salty than usual? They didn't like it.
I'm salty.
I forgot my personal.
You want the nail clipper? I just
No,
cut mine.
it broke off like in a straight line. What this is?
Yeah. Oh,
I like Calamus Comet.
Okay. Do you remember it? It's three.
Down at the bottom
So
there.
it's 3 chords, and you just have to remember it's 3 things, and you repeat,
And it's very like
and you take a rest, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to the same. No, go back to the first one, and then you go to the third one after that. Well, that's the second one. So it's 3 notes, and you repeat one, the first one, after the second one, and there's this game. Good stuff. How about we do some holidays?
Yeah.
All right. Fuck you, Jesus. You're so stupid, Jesus.
I never said that.
Fuck you, Jesus.
Man's body. I like to laugh last night. You can't have either capitalism or cannibalism.
Yeah. It's a good line. All right. Let's. So what's the next Jesus song or Christmas song? How about Feliz Navidad? Yeah.
But change it to like death.
Diablo Navidad.
Diablo Navidad.
Diablo Navidad.
Yo,
Diablo
Slutcher Day.
Navidad. Diablo Navidad. Diablo Navidad every day, sis. Every day, sis.
I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Sanctify all the Christmas.
Diablo Navidad.
Merry Christmas,
I
Saint.
want to know one Christmas.
Diablo Navidad.
Now we're summoning. Gotta get the candle.
Yeah.
Someone needs to have a Cookie Monster heavy metal voice.
How about
Sure.
Diablo.
Dick the halls with balls of holly.
Balls of holly.
Fuck, 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 fuck.
This is a good time.
All hands on deck. We've just been struck. Our ship is gonna sink. So go down
We're
with the
attempting
flames.
We're asking God to strike us down.
La 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 la. Volcano, volcano, drip system, digital.
How about what's the one with all the 12 nights?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think that's what they said. A lot of birds.
Let's see.
Everybody gets birds for Christmas.
I forget the. I wrote that one song. Oh yeah, it goes like yeah, I think I can remember it. Maybe. Let's see. No, it goes 10 little Indians, 8 made of milk and 7 rings golden. 10 little Indians, 8 made of milk and 7 rings golden. 3 petri dishes, 10 little Indians.
Add it up.
You heard this.
Why
I
can't I
heard
get
this.
just one fuck?
I can't get. Yeah.
Yeah, got something to do with fuck.
One for my hand, and
Yeah.
two.
That does. It sounds like, maybe that's something.
You've heard the 10 Indian song, right?
I don't think I've heard that one.
Oh my gosh, it's so.
Who does
It's
it?
like, it was a little record that I had as a little kid, and it was all about like 10 little Indians, go on a canoe, 9 come back
Okay. This is-
because one's a Jew, and.
Damn.
And so that it's just like all these Indians keep dying. So 9 little Indians build a fire, 1 gets burned alive,
That sucks.
8 in Rough Desire, and and so it keeps happening like that. So
Can
I
Rough
have
Desire be a song? 'Cause that's awesome. I heard Rough Desire.
Rough Desire.
Love that.
I just said
Make it a
that.
ballad.
It reminds me of
Rough
the
Desire.
you're going on a bear hunt.
Rough Desire.
You know, the 10 little Indians. Or 10 little monkeys.
So yeah, I took that, and I didn't want to kill Indians, so I just did that, and then added it into the 12 Days of Christmas.
What are we killing?
And then 3 petri dishes because that's not part of it. And then it's like a science project. So what did you just say?
I said.
I'm writing Rough Desire down. So I don't
Oh, Rough Desire. Yeah, I want to show you the
keeping that forever.
then my Frank Sinatra song.
10 little monkeys.
Until tomorrow.
I wrote-
We meet again. Until tomorrow, laughing and crying. So yeah, that is taking clear of the Rough Desire. So
Yeah.
added into that
Kind
kind
of
of
swooning. Yeah.
yeah, with that slow jam.
It is definitely swooning. But then a really fast, like, pounding. Just read the dictate book. Thumbed the one page and it was talking about someone's up to and thumbed to another page and like, for instance, looks great. Alright, fine. $12 views. It was
Oh, I got an idea. Aussie pussy, rough desire.
yeah. Now it's like chick rock.
Aussie pussy, rough desire. Aussie. Like he's an Australian.
There should
Nick
be a
Cave.
screaming. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nick Cave is an Aussie pussy with rough desire.
You try something. You'd be like, fuck yeah. Sounds like his music. Red right hand with some crazy shit. All of it. You get struck by lightning again. Almost getting struck by lightning twice would be legislative. I don't think that's ever. Either you get taken out or you
So is that the new song?
Rough Desire. Aussie
But I don't think you should make up the music.
Rough Desire in parentheses. Aussie pussy.
You want to pick up music? No, you.
Real good at.
You make up the music. I just came up with the words.
I can't do much on
Aussie pussy, rough desire. Nick Cage. or Nick Cave. Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
from
And
more,
the bad, and
from the
good
fucking.
Steves.
It's Nick Cage.
I'm a good
He's from Mortal Kombat. Nick
Nick
Cage.
Cage and the viable. What?
Aussie. Shrimp on the barbie. Rough desire. Steaks and shrimp on the barbie. Aussie.
Hit that drum string.
Rough desire.
Rough desires in the Avo.
Aussie. The Aussie in me. With the shrimp on the barbie. With a rough desire. Aussie in me. Aussie in me. Aussie. Aussie. Ozzy Osbourne. Aussie. Australian Aussie. Rough desire.
Is this the best guitar you've ever played?
It is, but I haven't actually played a decent guitar in so long that I don't even know how to. My brain's not in guitar mode anymore.
Aussie.
Brings it back.
Aussie. Nick Cage. Nick Cage. Fatality. Fatality.
You are fatality.
Oh, shrimp on the barbie. Rough desire.
We're gonna get booed off stage.
That means we're doing something right.
Not a banjo. I'm
Five
addicted.
string guitar.
Addicted to
So
the
is that
platinum.
dude? Oh, he's talking with the other dude. They're talking. Nice. Got some friends. Applesauce goes good with. Applesauce goes good with. Goes good with. Goes good with. Goes good with. Anyway.
Is that claw hammering?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Applesauce
That works.
goes good with. So you got like two fingers.
So it's
hitting
just like spreading your fingers wider and then less wide?
You're hitting with the back of the nail. Well, this string's supposed to be higher on the banjo, so you get the drone effect. But now you get this creepy sound, which I kind of like. So then you do.
Oh, kind of like a sitar, huh?
Yeah, I think it is kind of like because the thumb is hitting that, and you can pick the melodies like.
Hey, wanna go to Candy Mountain? I don't wanna go to Candy Mountain. Come on, let's
Here.
Come on, let's go to Candy Mountain. We have the unicorn.
I don't want to go to Candy Mountain. Come on. It's where all our dreams will come true. Let's go to Candy Mountain.
It was worth it. You've seen the Candy Mountain? I thought I sent you the llama. Remember the llama eating? Like, there's 2 llamas, and
So
then
that came after the Candy Mountain.
one llama like kills all these like people and makes a human river of blood.
Is this a cartoon?
Yeah.
I sent it to you like a year ago,
Sounds vaguely familiar.
and you were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, Candy Mountain.
It's crazy. It's another level of
It's another level of normalcy for me.
carnivore llama.
They're scary creatures. You've
Llama.
ever met one?
They spit.
I do. It's fucking awesome. I like watching videos of llamas spitting at people for hours. Because I see it coming. They don't.
And the sex.
Llama sex also.
Llama sex.
Dribble ejaculated.
So Becky, do you consider yourself a mother?
A mother? You know what? I haven't been in a minute, but I think it's a forever thing. So yeah.
So do you like go out and out say, I'm a mother?
Yeah, I'm a mother. I identify as a mother.
Did Sky tell you about Allison?
Is that the girl I saw at the thing?
Yeah, she was trying to get the moths, but she was like really
She needs
trying
a
to
blacklight.
she was trying to convince Sky like, no, I'm a mother. I'm a
Like you have to
mother.
lie about it.
No,
People don't believe me.
she was dressed in a moth costume or a butterfly costume, and I didn't think she was serious. So I said, I have a friend that actually does this.
Schooled her.
And then she's all, you don't think I'm serious? I was like, no, because anytime I ever see you, you're doing something comedy.
Or satire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Try doing
can't,
it right now.
I can't believe you at all.
I get it. Though. You get the light on here, you get all sorts of things. You never do it. I wish I knew any sort of chord.
You can play G chord. I mean, it doesn't sound the greatest. It's not tuned at all.
So I haven't heard something. Wow. It's not a nice
went-
soft thing.
I went to the Aqua Vita today, and they said that I might go in Thursday instead of Wednesday. Just a heads up.
I guess that'll be a different change. Different people.
Yeah, I saw there was a new guy. I guess it was his first day. He was like, he loves hiring immigrants, man. He loves hiring people with broken English. I think because like people that understand America, they won't put up with this shit. I think that's what it is.
So does that explain where the other new guy is gone? Remember?
Yeah, I
You're
haven't
like, I
asked.
haven't seen him.
I haven't asked.
And I said, he just had a baby. Maybe he's out.
Yeah, maybe he got quit or got fired. Just like I'm kind of tired of this. Yeah, he's putting on for 6 days a week straight, 10 hours a day. That's why I was like, I'm gonna work 1 day a week. I'm sick of this shit.
And he doesn't get time and a half
No,
after 40.
no, he does a deal with it, and so then they can pay him under the table with that. And one time he got in trouble, and then he tried to give me like a couple $100 or something like that. I'm like, I don't want this. I like tore up that check. Whatever. Not my deal. I'm not gonna rat you out.
Oh, I see. He thought you were going to call.
Yeah, so like he got, because the one guy, Caesar, he moved back to Philadelphia, and then they And I told I like he was like he's like where's all my extra overtime pay? And I was like, oh, he didn't do that, huh? He's like, no, he didn't do it. And he's like, I'm gonna tell the tax man when it comes around. And I'm like, good, do it. He needs to have that lesson. And so he did it. And then the family's like, oh, they did this, and like, oh, I can't believe it. It's always like they always do that. It's just like, oh, they always like get into this victim role. They're like, oh, everybody's a bad guy, instead of like, instead of just be like,
Write your stuff.
yeah, it was like we had a, yeah, he said, oh, we had an understanding. It's like, no, they didn't have an understanding. That's what you think. That's what you tell yourself, so then you can, keep living that life of being a victim.
That Becky's old boss was like that
Yeah.
at the Runaway.
Oh, the Tucson.
She was a special one.
Nice. When you were going to college.
I was just out of it, and I worked as a bartender. Yeah, live
She's
that
like
life
one of those people that like, doesn't pay you,
She'd steal my tips and stuff.
and you have to run after him to get your pay.
Yeah.
And, like seek him out. Yeah.
I mean, she'd pay me like the bare minimum, like $4 an hour or whatever it was.
Wow.
weight.
And then
Like-
steal your
Did you ever have a check bounce?
Luckily, they were
I've
good.
had
With,
some check.
they were
bounce.
cheap, but they were like good with me. Price
From
tag.
Aquavita, you had
Not from Aquavita. Not from Aquavita.
From the
Aquavita.
gas station.
No, from nursery. From a nursery I worked at.
Oh.
Not a children nursery,
Plant?
a plant nursery.
Yeah.
And yeah, they went into the red, and so then I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen
Just
in my
like-
current company, my ex company.
I remember didn't you say that people would call the gas station and say they owe this much money?
Oh my god, that fucking I couldn't wait to get away. I would get called like an hour or two before my time to come there, and like, oh, could you come in early? Like every time that
Ugh.
the owner's wife would work there, and then when I was there, I always had all these phone calls from billers and from unhappy customers because also was a garage,
It's like my apartment complex.
and it was just like.
Ugh.
Like, don't tell them that we're here. Don't tell them we're here. It's always like I have to do all these fucking messages.
But you think your company's gonna go under? I looked online when you got laid off to see if nothing was
Look on Glassdoor. They've been going black. On Glassdoor, angry. It's you know what it is? It's like you can look for jobs on it, but it's also like how to rate your like your company's employers. It's like tell them that because we're not going to strike you.
It's like Indeed now.
It's kind of like that. You can review your employees. After the pitch and the vendor, I looked on there and it's like there's at least 3 or 4 just being slammed. Prior to that, it was just they fired a lot of writers. And you can tell the people that were writing these reviews were legit, right?
They may do something else.
So these people either don't care or refuse the severance. Because the severance is pretty shitty. It's good to get one at all, so of course we're going to take it, but it's also like 5% for a low price. Because most people get like way longer than they gave us. Because I essentially got 6 weeks pay. But they also, the reason I have more money is they have to pay me all my vacation because I never take vacation. So they paid me 60 hours each check.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was shitey is that they're making, the people that did stay, they're making them use their own vacation for Florida's office closure. So like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, they're making their office closed, they're sitting around and never taking it off. So we're closing the office, which usually means either you're not getting paid or working is a holiday. But instead they're making them use their vacation. It's like 100, I researched layoffs and like bankruptcy.
Yeah. That's
But
what
this
Pete and Mary
company-
had to do for the city.
They went from like making it rain to like everybody gets free money. We're buying everyone a turkey for Thanksgiving. There's a gift card to Harkins. Constantly for nothing, no reason, like no one cared. It was just like, why are we doing that? They would waste money on stuff and like have these extravagant holiday parties and rent like lots of it's always fun. It was scheduled and everyone accepted it. Like RSVP for it months ago, everyone canceled it maybe 6 weeks. Which is
It's fun.
exciting.
Are we allowed to be here?
Oh no. You can come talk to
Yeah, he's probably coming up.
It's probably the same thing. Yeah, maybe. I think we can come talk. I bet they just have to prove something every hour. Yeah, 100 billion signs and not too small. So my thing is, then they're gonna go bankrupt, and then no one's getting a step. Because everybody that's still there is like, well, I'll get a good severance. It's like, you won't get any if you stay there too long. It's like, hey, you go completely
Yep.
bankrupt, you show up one day and it's like, sorry, we can't pay you.
And you can't get anything back.
You
There's
get-
there's nothing you can do. It's already in bankruptcy.
So actually, after now that I'm not the front, that's fine. You know what? I got out the right time. Maybe in the first round of layoffs. Because imagine working there knowing that layoffs are
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just
I remember I had this class of this math teacher, and he would just always have this like go this extra step of having these like pop-up tests, and
Oh,
it was like nobody knew about what there was, and then he would just kind of do it, and then he was like kept on trying to convince everybody, don't drop out, don't worry, we're work it out. And I was like, fuck
everybody's
this,
failing.
I'm dropping out.
Yeah,
And I'm glad I did, because then like everyone that stayed in, they failed.
that's exactly what's happening at the work. Because
Yeah.
they're like, well, they said it'll be fine now. Like, they told me it was fine a week
Right.
before they fired me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Because they hide it from you until the last possible second.
yeah. I thought they were doing well.
They fucked something up. My theory is they haven't been doing well and they've been hiding it. There were signs, but that wasn't being said. I think they bought that new building. They got the big bridge and couldn't afford it. Because suddenly they were really interested in solar power about a year and a half ago. I know they don't give a fuck about the environment. Suddenly they were really interested in sustainability, and I know they don't give a fuck about the environment. Like, they got
Yeah.
cheap on paper towels. They were never paper
Wow.
towels. Like, weird stuff.
Weird.
It's
Yeah,
like-
once you go into solar, that's not like cheap, and it's not going to pay off immediately. It's
And
going to
plus,
take like a whole decade or
The
something.
Trump tax on it now for Phoenix.
Oh, wow, there's a Trump tax for
Very
solar?
much.
Really?
Yeah, you pay more to have it.
For
My aunt and
solar?
My aunt and uncle were telling me about that too. I don't know how it is on a company. level,
Wow.
but they live in Washington and they got partial solar on their house, and they like it would power their entire house, but then they have a tax now because they want you
Wow.
to buy
Because
into
you're
the
off the
bullshit.
grid.
Yeah, they don't want you. It's like an off the grid punishment tax.
Wow.
But if you look at the numbers, like
Look at that creeper. That guy's such a creeper.
is that the top again?
Yeah, he's driving
There's
on the
a-
yawn.
There's a little road and access road. I guess they
Yeah.
just- I don't know.
It's probably just like some clipboard thing.
I've been here before at night,
Hey, maybe you can come talk to me. I'll be like, all right, cool.
but I think it's till 10. I'm pretty sure.
It might just be a safety thing if they wanted to do it. If something happened. Or it's a board cop.
He's scoping that deal. He has to go through the access road, but damn, I wish he'd been turn off the brakes.
There's a major problem.
So you think you got a couple of weeds beside your flowers?
I like this one. It's the month.
Well, I think I can fit a soul inside my shoe. Tell all hell maidens and dirty elbows to quit their job so they can start cleaning fresh along Park Avenue.
This is like early at Modest Mountain.
Scab wore Naked City rested on a leech. Bruised up sandcake feet. Omaha, Nam, New York, and Japan. Don't fry up too fast without me. Don't fry up too fast without me.
That was awesome.
That song,
1 minute and 23 seconds.
I
Just put like 600 on a tape. Done.
I wrote when I had I got robbed in Washington State
Oh,
at
there
a
you go.
hot springs, and then I biked out to, I think it was Gold Bar, and I
What hot springs?
was like banging on I don't know, it was on the Cascades. I was banging on the police department. I'm just like, I've been robbed. I have no money. I just had a bike and my clothes and stuff, and so I need a place to stay. Just want to let you know. And you're like, well, you could stay at the park. And so I went to the park there. It was very small. And they'd have like some guy that was like all cranked up. And he was like, it was like, you got the grip? You have the grip? Like, what are you talking about, man? You know, the grip. The grip. And I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, cool. See ya. So I slept on some cement. I wrote that. And then in the morning time, I found, to my surprise, in my panniers, I slipped, was it my wallet or my credit card or something like that? And so like all my life was saved right then. So that's
But one night in the park with the grip.
with the grip, yeah, and all this kind of stuff. But that was that song.
What
That's
year was that?
2001, right before I got to Seattle, and right before, so like August, around August.
It's a good time of year to sleep in a park there. Other times of year, not so much.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I remember that cop was pretty pissed. Just like, why are you banging on the door, man? I was like, oh, I thought it was like, because like it was like a small town
Keep
sheriff.
the people safe.
If like it's a police department. It's like, I heard you. Didn't you hear? I was like, no. Oh. Like, yeah, so it's like one of those towns.
That looked
It was-
friendly, but it wasn't.
It was just like,
Small.
it was like his house.
Gold Bar.
Like, it's,
I know my friend lives there right now. They're
Gold
like
Bar.
hillbillies out there, yeah.
Oh wow,
It's out
yeah,
there.
yeah, I bet. I remember the coolest thing that I saw along the Cascades was this.
Sasquatch.
No, that would have been cool, maybe.
Got some
But it was
food.
this church, and this church was the size of that thing right there, the whole church.
Holy shit.
It was the coolest thing because they had like little pews. They had like 2 rows on each side, and like of kneelers, and they had like an altar. And so it was like this micro church. It was amazing.
Should put a little Jesus in there.
Just in case like you wanted to stop by and pray. It was like a little
Like a
prayer
little
thing.
shrine.
Yeah, little it was
Emergency church.
emergency church. Yeah.
Somebody must have reported something. I can't believe he
It's
does
us.
this every night.
I bet he does. This is
It could be like a round thing.
yeah.
Like a weird
Looking
time.
for people that are going to sleep in the park. That's
Looking
how
for kids making
Yeah.
out.
They,
You know, I swear I've been here in the middle of the night and like the run and stuff.
they comb this park for homeless people.
We thought we were, but they weren't sure. They look legit.
They don't have dogs. I don't think they're so
We do look like oogles right now, though.
Oogles?
Have you heard about oogles?
No.
Apparently, there's a word for this because I was recently informed.
The people that travel around.
Yeah, like the kids that have trust
Nomads?
funds.
Oh, okay.
The kids that have
Oh.
trust funds that pretend that they're poor and like sleep on the street and stuff.
They're
Oh.
called oogles?
I met a few today.
Nice.
The kid that wanted to live at my house.
Oh, the beautiful guy.
Yeah, he was Rubenesque.
Like,
Like,
can you give me
sure.
$1 because you're beautiful? Becky's like,
I
what?
don't understand that transaction.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about the guy I saw
Beautiful people.
when I was waiting for Becky to come. There was a guy sitting at the table at Iguana, and And he was freaking out all the people passing him by because he would just like say random shit to them. I said, I'll sit next to this guy so he'll talk to
Did
me.
he become lucid the second you said that?
Yeah, he was like, don't mind me, I'm just a crazy man from New Jersey. I'm like, hey, I know a crazy man from New Jersey.
Oh,
Like,
Dang.
it'd be cool if you showed up. Hey, no, that's me. This is my town.
I was laughing. And then I said, and they're like, your friend's a crazy person from New Jersey? I said, one of them. That one is not from New Jersey.
See what it's like in my hood. They make people sleep in parks. That's the solution up there. Hell yeah, I use the slide. Those are fun. The glass ball. That's me too. I'm waiting for AFI.
Her parents would birth
That rattle.
No, I think you have to put like a pencil through it, then that's
Then it's
prepared.
prepared.
Yeah.
There's like a
It's
way to
just
make it
slide.
a crazy ass. What do they call those? Queso. I bought one for the Bum Diddy machine, but I haven't tried that. You have to keep up it's straight though. I didn't think that one. My brother said there's a way you can do it with like a version. Because you can capo the main string, and then there's the crazy ass.
You ain't nothing but a three-legged chicken beyond the wall. Oh, she's a chicken lady too. That was like one of my first songs I ever wrote. Falling on the ground. Did you hear a sound? Dead in the corner. Walking on what looks to be like a suitcase. Oh shit, yeah. No, so poor I don't even got a dime. Screaming for help, but not receiving a hand from people fucking mind me. Help me up, cut off my extra limb, let me murder him. I hate my leg, for it stops me in my ways, walking down the street. All it is spare me. Yeah, it's a good rhyme, right? I'm like 12. I'm writing this shit. That's what was going on.
Spare me forever.
I was like pretending that I was on drugs before I tried drugs.
Grip. The grip, dude.
Oh, the grip! The fucking grip.
The grip was real.
Grip trip. The grip trip. Like the Paladin.
You got the grip.
You got the grip?
It's in
You got the
face.
dentures?
No, it's in the face.
So you don't remember, you never wrote any songs?
Not like that. I wish.
What? I am only living my life.
It's fun.
But you wrote songs on guitar?
No, actually, I tried. I think. I kind of have.
Come on,
some,
you
like,
gotta remember something.
well, I don't really know any chords on the guitar anymore. I fuck
Neither do
around.
I. I'm gonna play a chord, play my fucking. Do it. Let me hear it. Sure, go ahead.
I don't know any. I can't do it.
Do a cappella then. You remember that way?
It's weird. I'll either write like words or music, but not together.
Do you remember your dad's song?
My dad wrote a cheesy song.
The one that he made the whole family play,
Yeah.
and you guys got it recorded.
Yeah, that's all him. I just did background.
There's video of it. It's beautiful. Right?
Wait.
There's video? I have a memory of it being
We
video.
have an MP3 of it, and then we had pictures. I don't think it was video. It was before the internet.
Okay.
It was.
Do you remember that song? But you didn't write it. What about your You're the one who was talking about like
I could
that
play.
you like writers
I do
rather
like
than
writers.
the performers.
I'm a hypocrite. I only play other people's songs.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, I play my own. I write my own music when I fool around, but I haven't put words to it.
So you write music?
Yeah.
I find that I've come to terms with me writing music. The best way I can write music is my drawings, and that's my music. So my
I guess I kind of understand that
drawings, and it's like,
because there's a link there, sure.
yeah, it's like that's like the most true of like words. They come after the image. They come after that, and then music kind of. Well, music kind of comes before the image, but all of the image is made up of the music. My synesthesia mind,
Oh,
Makes
there's that
sense.
word again.
the mix up of the senses, basically.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense to me, though. Gives me.
I get that.
You have synesthesia?
I don't think I have that,
Okay.
but I get what you're saying. I think there's a definite link there. You can like work backwards too.
Yeah. I find that like, do you ever write stories backwards?
I think I've done that back in the day. I haven't written
Yeah.
fiction in a long time. I'm trying to play around with it again.
I remember getting really hard up of trying to write this. I think it was the cannibal thing of my cannibal fire orgy of George W. Bush. It was like this really big long thing, and it was so involved. And I was trying to get this out to like perform, but like I was having such a difficult time. So I did it backwards, and that was how I did it. And that was like the key of getting just, it was
Like you know where you wanted to end up, and then you just
yeah. And so I
it's
started
like
with like,
Memento.
I started with that voice, and then it kind of turned into something. And so it went really well.
Did you read House of Leaves?
I saw
feel like we've had
I saw her but I'm a Joycean,
The book
It's-
you gave
so
me.
that's
It's-
it's like in my veins. Basically.
You'll like it then. 'cause
Well,
it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
synesthesia and Joyce at the same time, and
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah, I was like looking through all of it so it's like it's definitely in my veins.
Like starting out of order and stuff, and you don't know what's real and have unreliable narrators.
Yeah, I wonder how many books were made for that.
I don't know. He's crazy.
It's like
Fucking love
insane.
He wrote it on napkins on like a bus too, and then he threw it all away. And his sister's like, "Where did you throw it?" And she went to that city and like went to the dumpster and dug it back out.
Oh
His
my
sister's
gosh!
the musician,
Wow,
So
wow.
it's a cool
So
story.
it's like she's the hero.
It's some sort of devil shit. Like when you-
Wow.
I don't know. That book creeped me out. I love it.
Did you finish the whole thing?
He's read it a couple
I read it. I read it like 1.5 times. So I'll go back to parts.
Yeah.
And I've read his other series, which I also like a lot.
I've only gotten through like a third of it.
He also wrote another one that they accuse him of like imitating Joyce.
It's so ridiculous.
But I know it's weird.
It's like,
You can't imitate Joyce. No one can do that, from what I've read. But that one's supposed to be kind of like Gulliver's Travels, I think,
okay.
or Finnegan's Wake. My bad,
Okay.
which I haven't read yet. But
I've read that for let's say 20 years.
because this one is like it's like two people that are always 17, so there's some sort of like deity,
Okay.
and then it's told in like a random
She's only 17. That's a Winger song we found out.
Wingers.
That's
There's also
Winger.
ABBA,
Oh, is it?
Dancing Queen, just 17.
Oh no. This one was about rape, basically.
I feel like they're all about
Statutory rape.
a little bit about race.
Yeah.
Old enough for me, right?
It was crazy.
But
So-
yeah, it's told in like rambly poetry. Like
So
the
this
words
is-
kind of float. Like it's written very avant-garde. Like it's strange to read. A lot of people hate it.
And this
then
is
the
not the
font will
this is
start-
not the leaves. This is something else.
One of his other books. It
What is
starts
this
in like
called?
giant font and then works tiny. And then you flip the whole book around and it's the other character telling the same story. And one of them is plants and one of them is animals. So they'll
Okay.
throw out random animals, like do like crazy ass Latin names and like really specific plants for no real reason. People hate it. It's called Only Revolution.
Great.
I thought it was cool, but crazy. Like not a normal storytelling tactic.
Yeah. I told you about Finnegan's Wake.
He's pretty cool. You have to learn
Yeah.
about
Of the idea behind it.
It's all like at one thing, right? Again, kind of like Ulysses. One
Um,
event.
Ulysses is the daytime. Finnegan's Wake is the nighttime.
Okay.
And
But
so
it's kind of they go together.
everything that James Joyce wrote goes
Goes
together
together.
because it's all from James Joyce.
Yeah.
And it's all takes place in Dublin.
That's kind of
But
how
it's the
he does
Dublin
it
of his
too.
mind because
He
He
was
was-
living in Paris.
and he was yeah. Well, he was a drunken, neglectful dad, and who was like always getting not paying rent, and so he was like indebted to
The
people. So
debtors.
he would run out from instead of like he would go to another country and
Packed quickly in the
yeah,
night.
Like all the crazy artists.
yeah, basically.
Like all the painters did that shit. too.
Nobody pays for
They
anything.
go to fucking Fiji and hide.
I'm feeling the rain.
Do you feel rain?
Do you feel it?
We're gonna get struck.
This is what happened last time.
I'm ready this time.
I didn't feel it.
You're all not cold, right?
I have like a fancy jacket on.
Yeah, I got 2 jackets. And
Are
you're
you
not
cold?
cold?
I'm okay.
That's great.
It's pretty nice. Face feels good. Talking about literature in the park, book club,
Yeah.
nocturnal book club. Most people do it in coffee shops. We do it with shitty guitars.
Okay. We've been out here for over an hour.
Oh,
Wow.
An hour, 12 minutes. I'm stopped on the stream.
bye.
All right.